All right, so no Beethoven. Like, really try to imagine that for a sec.
Yeah.
No da-da-da-da. No Moonlight Sonata to, set the mood.
Tough to picture, right?
It's impossible. And that's why we're here, right? To go deeper, past the surface, past just knowing the hits. We're going deep on Beethoven, the man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah, it's a story that goes way beyond just music.
Oh, yeah.
It's about resilience, facing those challenges, finding your voice, even when, everything is stacked against you.
Oh, I like that. Okay, so close your eyes if you want. Picture Bonn, Germany. Late 1700s.
Okay.
Not exactly the glitz and glam of Vienna we usually think of with Beethoven.
Right.
But this is where it all begins, right? Young Ludwig, little Beethoven, and I'm telling you, it was not a walk in the park.
Yeah, demanding dad, actually sometimes just straight up abusive,
Mm-hmm.
saw his kid's talent as, well, a cash cow,
Whoa.
a way to make money of, pressure, fear, that environment.
Mm-hmm.
It leaves a mark, shapes you.
Oh, absolutely. And you see it later, don't you? That fierce independence, like nobody tells me what to do. And I mean, even when he was scraping by in Vienna, right? By 12, this kid's already working, supporting his family through music.
Right. You don't see that kind of drive every day. It's not just talent. It's something deeper.
Yeah.
Like he had to succeed.
Exactly. It's like this fire in him. And the thing is, it wasn't just, oh, little Ludwig is good at piano. Even then, his music was already different, pushing those boundaries, not just playing the hits. He was already finding his own WN sound.
Absolutely. It's there from the beginning. I like this spark, something special.
Okay, so he gets out of Bonn. He lands in Vienna, 1792.
Okay.
And Vienna at this time, this is the place to be if you're a musician. Think Mozart, Haydn.
Oh, yeah.
It must have been electric, just this energy.
Oh, absolutely. And Beethoven, he jumps right into the mix. Studies with Haydn, composing, playing, and the Viennese aristocracy. They're eating it up. He's a virtuoso pianist, no doubt.
Yeah, the guy could play.
But it's more than that. His music, it's emotional, powerful, it's new. He's shaking things up.
It's not just pretty music for a fancy party. It's got this rawness, a depth. You feel it.
You can hear that fire in his early work, absolutely.
Okay.
But then, so imagine this, 1798, right?
Uh-huh.
He's 28, on top of the world, and his hearing starts to go.
Oh, no.
And not just a little trouble, we're talking constant buzzing, ringing.
A musician's nightmare.
It's like for a painter to lose their sight, or, a dancer to lose the use of their legs. When your art, your essence, is attacked like that, it's devastating.
Absolutely. It has to be.
It was. Denial at first,
Yeah.
then this deep, deep despair as it gets worse, over the next decade.
Right.
But here's the thing, and this is what's so incredible about Beethoven. He doesn't just give up.
No.
He digs in, even deeper.
He almost turns it into fuel.
Yeah.
Okay, fate, you want to play this game, let's go. And this is where we get the Eroica Symphony.
Exactly. He's grappling with this deafness, his own mortality, and out comes this massive, monumental work. Bigger, bolder, longer than anything people were used
Your
to.
critics must have been like, what is going on here?
They were baffled.
Yeah.
It's like he wasn't composing for them anymore. He was composing for this symphony in his mind.
Oh, wow.
And it's not just the length. It's the structure, the dissonance, those sudden shifts in mood. It's like you can feel him wrestling with fate, with this darkness, on a musical level.
Oh, I get that. It's like it's not background music anymore. It's a statement.
Exactly. Take the first movement, for example. It's this massive, heroic struggle, and then this sudden, quiet, almost vulnerable passage.
Oh, wow.
Like a glimpse into his inner turmoil, his doubt.
Right.
And then, bam, he's back, full force, fighting back against that darkness.
Amazing. And as his hearing gets worse, of course, he's more and more isolated, right? And try to picture him hunched over his piano, not listening with his ears anymore, but feeling the vibrations, like through his bones.
Right. Channeling the music from a different place entirely.
And is that where the real magic happens? In that space between silence and sound?
You have to wonder, right? He's forced to listen in a way that most of us never will.
Yeah.
And this leads him into his late period, almost completely deaf. And that's where we get the string quartets.
Okay, yeah. Those late string quartets, those are something else. And I know we have a lot to unpack there, so let's save that for the next part of our deep dive.
Yeah, those quartets, it's like he almost transcends music, It's not about pleasing anybody anymore. It's like this conversation with something bigger.
I get that. I remember when I really got into them, it wasn't like, love at first listen,
Right.
It was almost too much, too raw, too intense.
That's powerful stuff.
But then it clicked. And it was like, whoa, Beethoven is sharing his soul here. Every doubt, every struggle, it's all right there.
Yeah, that honesty, that rawness, it
Yeah.
gets you. Think about the Grosse Fuge, right? The last movement of Opus 130. People thought he was nuts when he wrote that thing. Too chaotic, too dissonant, too real, maybe.
Yeah, it was originally part of quartet, right? But audiences just couldn't deal with it.
It was too much for them.
Yeah.
They wanted something, more traditional. And Beethoven, being Beethoven, gave them a new last movement.
Oh, right.
But the Grosse Fuge is still there.
Yeah.
This testament to pushing the limits, what music could express.
Yeah, and it's not just the technical stuff, the harmonies and all that. It's the emotional depth in those late quartets. There's this searching, this grappling with big questions. It's almost spiritual.
Yeah, it's like he's composing on the edge of the abyss, staring into the void and finding beauty there.
Yeah.
And it's not just the deafness he's dealing with, right?
Oh, yeah. His life was kind of a mess, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Failed romances, family drama, the whole 9 yards.
The guy could write music to move mountains but couldn't find love. I don't know. It's kind of ironic. I read somewhere he kept falling for women who were, well, let's just say out of his league.
Yeah, that'll leave a mark.
Definitely.
But it fuels his work, You can hear that longing, that heartache. Pieces like the Moonlight Sonata.
Yeah.
But there's also this fire, this defiance.
Right.
I'm down, but I'm not out.
Exactly. And, okay, let's be real. Beethoven was known for being, difficult. A bit of a temper, right?
Yeah.
Fought with critics, patrons. I even heard a story about him yelling at a waiter for the wrong soup.
He was no saint, that's for sure. But that passion, that intensity, part of the package.
Yeah.
Part of what made him Beethoven.
It's almost like you need that fire to create that kind of art.
Maybe, yeah.
And think about the time, right?
Oh, yeah.
French Revolution, Napoleon doing his thing. It was a world in chaos.
World on fire.
And you feel that energy in his music, don't you?
Absolutely.
I mean, take the Eroica, right?
Okay.
Originally dedicated to Napoleon.
Oh, yeah, that's a great example. He admired Napoleon, the ideals, liberty, all that. Then Napoleon crowns himself emperor.
Yeah, good old Napoleon.
And Beethoven is like, forget this guy, rips up the dedication page, calls him a tyrant. Classic Beethoven.
No holding back. And it makes you wonder how much of that revolutionary spirit, that fight for freedom, is in his music.
It's there, for sure.
Yeah.
That idea that music isn't just, entertainment. It's a force for change, for expressing those deep emotions, even the messy ones.
That's a good point. So we've got the music, the legacy, the whole struggle and triumph thing. What about other composers? Did he create a school of, Beethovenites?
No, not really. That's what's
Yeah.
interesting. He was such a unique voice, so ahead of his time.
Yeah.
Hard to copy that.
Right.
But his influence is everywhere. Brahms, Wagner, Mahler, they all wrestled with Beethoven in their own way.
It's like he set the bar so high.
He raised the game,
Yeah.
expanded what music could be. And that's still happening today. I mean, think about the Ninth Symphony. The choral finale, the Ode to Joy, groundbreaking.
It's not just a symphony, it's a statement. It's become this anthem, Olympics, political rallies.
It's used for everything. Celebrations, mourning. It's gone beyond its time.
It's universal.
That's Beethoven. He tapped into something essential about being human. And that's why we're still listening. Centuries later.
It's funny. We think classical music and it can seem so, stuffy, distant.
Yeah.
But with Beethoven, it's different. He's right there with you, going through it, wrestling with these huge emotions.
Yeah.
And somehow you're right there too, wrestling with him.
It's that, I guess that honesty, right? That vulnerability.
Right.
Makes him relatable. Even after all this time, he's not hiding from the darkness, the struggle. He owns it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes the triumphs feel so powerful.
Like he's saying, hey, life's tough. It throws you curveballs, but you don't have to let them break you.
Right.
You can find beauty, meaning, even when it's chaos.
And that message, it almost hits harder during those tough times, Think about it. His music was played at the fall of the Berlin Wall, Mandela's inauguration, these huge moments when, the world was holding its breath.
It's like we need that reminder, right, when things are uncertain.
Yeah.
That we can get through it, the human spirit, all that.
It endures.
Yeah.
And it's not just, the big events.
Right.
Think about all the people who turn to Beethoven during personal struggles, divorce, loss, when things get really hard.
Yeah.
His music, its strength, its solace.
I read this thing once about a Holocaust survivor. He said listening to those late quartets helped him find meaning
Wow.
after, unimaginable horror. It's like the music, it just goes beyond language, beyond culture.
It's universal, yeah. Speaks to something deeper.
And that's the real legacy, right? Not just the notes, but what they carry, that message, that even when things are really, really bad, the human spirit.
It can win. It can overcome.
Yeah. So we've come to the end of our deep dive, but I keep coming back to this question. What if we all lived with a little bit of that Beethoven passion? That unwavering spirit, you know?
Yeah, what if we saw our challenges not as obstacles, but as chances to grow, to create?
Right. What masterpieces are hiding inside us?
Waiting to be unleashed.
And you don't need to be a genius, right?
No.
It's about finding your voice, what you love, and going for it.
With everything you've got.
Look those struggles right in the eye and say, bring it on.
It's not about avoiding the darkness. It's about finding that light within it.
Your own ode to joy, waiting to be discovered.
So go out there. Embrace those challenges. Find that voice. Let the world hear it.
Let's hear your symphony.